Could you provide an explanation or a definition of what digital equity is?
Today, less than half of the world has access to digital technology. There's no good definition for digital equity. But we can think about digital equity in three broad areas. One by age groups, the second by gender, and the third by income levels. Income levels play a big role and difference in how digital equity will become available. And to change this, of course, make it more equitable, private firms have to do their bit. The public sector and the government needs to do a lot more in making this happen.
You mentioned about the need for private and public sector organizations to do more to facilitate digital equity and make it more ubiquitous throughout the world. Can you explain how they can do that?
The private enterprise, of course, can make mobile devices in a much more accessible manner and draw the cost down so that people can then get access to them even at lower income levels. Digital literacy, just not having the broadband and the connectivity and accessibility is useful. It is then how to use all of that is also important. From a women perspective, having access to digital literacy and taking initiatives to include them into this whole digital equity is an important initiative.
And just moving on to the implications of a society and world that isn't digitally equitable, what are those implications from a financial and ethical and innovative point of view? Why is it important that 100% of the population has access to digital technologies?
You know, the past 2 years, Nick, have not been easy with the pandemic. And it's not been much more easier for people who are not digitally included. 40% of school children with lower income groups in the US had to use public hotspots to get their homework done. That should tell you how difficult it is for people to have continued education without having digital technologies enabled. Telehealth has become so much more prominent today, and that wouldn't have happened without digital technology being available and people knowing how to use it. The more we get digitally enabled societies, I think they're more equitable from healthcare perspective and education perspective, which will raise over generations the income levels and hence a much more accessible and equitable society that will be there.
Can you give us any insight into what India's done in terms of rolling out a digital equity program?
It's amazing how digital payments have taken off in India with the UPI. It's not a cashless society yet, but I think it's fast moving in the direction because of these initiatives that the government has taken. I'm very hopeful we'll learn from these initiatives that governments are taking across and adopt them well, and that will definitely help a lot more inclusive society become a reality.